Fargo Brewing has been a huge part of Fargo's brewing culture for 10 years now.
With us today, we've got Jared Hardy from Fargo Brewing Company, who, they've been around for 10 years. Congratulations on that. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited, too, about it this year. Just kind of going back to when we started, it was 4 of us in my garage brewing beer. And had plans for this to go, but we never kind of would expect it to take off the way it has.
So let's go back to that. Some guys who really enjoyed their beer, and then you thought, you know what we should do?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I moved back to Fargo, back to my hometown. It was like, okay, I lived in Portland, Oregon. There's breweries everywhere. Why haven't we had it yet in North Dakota? And found 3 guys that had the same vision for it, and we just kind of started getting it going and got the right support from the community to actually build it and make it work. So,
what do you think has made it so successful?
I think it's a good product to start always helps, but I think the way we've infused the community into the brand and what our focus is and what we like to do really helped, and I think Fargo itself just needed it, and it worked well. So
was the name obvious, Fargo Brewing Company?
It was, yeah. The 4 of us, when we first got together, it was like in 15 minutes we had it figured out that we really felt like Fargo needed that identity of a brewery. We kind of missed the boat in the 80s when the last craft beer boom was, so how do we get Fargo its brewery? And the name was the way to start. So
nice.
So we're going to talk about some of the new ones you have coming out, but before we even get into those, you have some classics that have just,
Yeah, Stone's Throw Scottish Ale is our most popular beer. That was our second beer we came out with, and that has taken off, and it's definitely a lot of what we do at the brewery. Also, Wood Chipper IPA is a big one for us. That one travels really well. In Minneapolis, that one picks up pretty well, and throughout South Dakota. So that's kind of fun to see how that plays. But yeah, we try to have our 4 year-round beer staples that we like, but we know that people are looking for new things to try all the time, and so that's why in the brewery and throughout Fargo, we try to release a new beer every other week, and that's our main goal.
So how do you come up with new beer ideas? I mean, do you just talk to people and get feedback, or?
Yeah, we have our official product development meetings on Friday afternoons, and we start thinking about ideas of what we want to do and how we want to make it a Fargo beer. We'll play around with different styles. For example, one of the beers we're talking about today is a Pilsner. So light color beer, but what if we start putting some coffee notes and flavor into there, and it's just kind of just, alternate, kind of just playing off with the light color, but the coffee roast flavor.
I like that. And so that's this one right here.
Correct, yeah.
Has there been a beer that you guys made and you're like, oh, this is going to be a home run, this is so good, and it ended up just not selling like you thought?
Of course, yeah. I mean,
you loved it, but everyone else did.
Yeah, we love it, so we'll put it out there, we'll go behind it. But sometimes, it's maybe a little bit too focused for what we like to do. We really like to drink more traditional lagers, and sometimes that isn't the beer that goes. But at the same time, we can get beers that we didn't really expect much from, and boom, it takes off for us.
I love
Stone's Throw being a prime example. That was just kind of one of those early beers we were playing with, and just sure enough, it just kept going and going and going.
That one is my favorite. So I love the idea, like going back to this one, because I'm always the one that's like, I want a light beer.
Yeah.
It needs to be light color. If it's dark, I'm like kind of scared of, and then I love coffee. So
yeah, it's a great beer. Yeah.
Okay, so next up here, what do we have here?
Yeah, it's a coconut oatmeal milk stout. So this will be a darker beer. It's a little bit more of that roast flavor on it. But we finished that beer off on toasted coconut, so it gives it a little bit more of that coconut flavor. We got some vanilla in there to sweeten it up as well. It's a great beer too. It's kind of our big winter beer that we like to drink and push there, and that's a great beer.
Okay, I like that. So, and don't be scared, because I'm a little scared of that.
Yeah, color is not necessarily going to reflect the flavor a whole lot. Like Stone's Throw is an amber color beer, but it doesn't taste heavy or anything like that. So there's a lot of that lighter character that can come with the color.
I think what Chris has there would be my favorite.
Yeah, so this is a Berliner Weiss, which is a sour beer, so kind of a new growing style in the last few years. So we take that sour beer and add blood orange to it to give it the sweetness and fruit flavor with it, and that's been really popular as well. We usually mix up a new fruit every month or two with playing around with a new.
I like fruity beers, so that's kind of trendy. You have to stay up with what the trendy young people like, right?
Oh, sure, yeah, and you're working with all the fruit vendors to see what flavors they have coming out, what new ones they're playing with, and so the next one we have is a mango guava sour that'll be coming out.
I know that's going to be popular.
Yeah, we're excited for that one too.
And what's this German
The last
Pilsner?
one here, it's a German Pilsner. So this, again, kind of goes back to our more traditional lager. We like to try to kind of bring back some of these classic beers. So this is one of those two where it's a really solid German Pilsner, has the more traditional flavors, and it's one of those great beers. For us, it's that lawn mowing beer or the season snowblowing beer.
Yeah,
but a really
you
great
need
beer.
that.
Yeah.
And well, the beer snobs, the real beer drinkers, that's what they like.
That's what our brewers like to drink. They like to
Yes.
drink the Pilsner and play around with that. But again, sometimes the best beer is the one in your fridge.
You should label your next beer and just call it the lawn mowing beer. Like that was
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, we actually have a beer out called Snow Mower, and talking
Do
about
you?
the idea of mowing your snow. I guess that's what we can do.
I have to buy that for people because the wood chipper has been very popular for me to gift
Yeah.
to people as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
Okay, we have a lot more with you coming up here. We're going to be talking about yoga on tap, and I'm going to be doing some yoga here in a little bit too with you guys. So stay with us.
Great, thanks.
At